Check it out, Casper!
Hey everyone, and thanks for tuning in. Casper here, and Mann Power is finally out of beta. At least, officially. However, if you play it, you may not necessarily agree with Valve on that one. There is one major flaw with the game mode, which I think will stop it ever really kicking off, but we will get to that in a minute. Let's start off with the good bits. The new map, Hellfire, is unique in that it's the only map which was quite literally built for the sole purpose of manpower, and that really shows in its design when you play it. In some of the previous maps, such as the Thunder Mountain mod, you can use the grappling hook to get across the map in literally 4 or 5 swings, taking around 10 seconds, and just rinse and repeat, which has absolutely no enjoyment or replay value. Hellfire is cleverly set up in a series of high ceilinged and long bends, which both allow you to use your grappling hook to high effect, whilst at the same time forcing you to have to make lots of movements rather than just a small handful of swings to negotiate the entire map. Unfortunately, that's where the good things end about this Manpower update, in my opinion. One of the big flaws of Manpower is its namesake, power-ups. Now, the concept of power-ups is great, and I totally appreciate how they are integral to this game mode. However, there are way too many of them, and many of them are just fulfill the same purpose in a subtly different way. In fact, there are 12 power-ups at the moment, and I honestly believe that this could be reduced to 4 or 5, and it would only benefit the game mode. The worst part about power-ups is playing without one, and that's got a lot of potential to actually be pretty much all of the time. If you're 1v1 against someone with a power-up and you don't have a power-up, no matter what your class matchup is, you're almost guaranteed to lose. To exacerbate this issue, the respawn times on the power-ups are quite long, so you'll be seeing in these background clips. At least 90% of the time I go to the power-up load points, they're still respawning, and there's no indication of when they'll be back. And when you die, you don't have a power-up. So you're just more and more likely to be engaging with people who do have power-ups when you don't have one. Manpower itself, I feel, is a great idea. But here's the really big flaw, which I think will stop it ever becoming more than CTF's ugly cousin. And that is the fact that it is in Team Fortress 2. Seriously, if you just play the game mode, or even break it down into its constituent parts, the grappling hook, it's awesome and it's really fun to fly around with, brilliantly executed in the Source engine. The idea of power-ups is great, it allows some clever, tactical and wacky gameplay. But what doesn't work is the fact there are 9 different classes, which massively, exponentially increases the possibility of ability matchups, and worst of all, one of those classes is Engineer. The fact that sentry guns can be built in any game mode completely obscure and objective like this just makes the idea of playing to win absolutely hopeless, and is in fact one of the major issues which also exists with Pastime. It basically boils your class selection down to be an asshole joyless engineer or an engineer fighting demo man or soldier. What Manpower really needs is simply to be a different game to Team Fortress 2, completely separate, outside of Team Fortress. Valve, do what you do best, take a previously existing game idea and mechanic and just put it into its own game without the clutter. It worked for Team Fortress Classic, which I understand was loosely based off Quake and games around that era, and Dota, which is a complete copy, although very legally I'm sure, of a mod that was originally for WoW, I believe. Please don't shoot me if I got that wrong. But if you imagine now a game like Unreal Tournament, where everyone spawns as a generic class, everyone's got the same weapons when they spawn, but weapons and power-ups are found throughout the map, kinda like Manpower. All you have to do is replace Unreal Tournament's low gravity with the slick grappling hook mechanics that we've got here, and you've got exactly what I feel Manpower should be. I may find myself going back to Manpower mode maybe once or twice in the future to mess around with friends, or perhaps if they release new content for it. However, the fact that they have now officially pulled it out of beta suggests that they consider it finished, which isn't a conclusion that I would personally agree with. What I would really like to know is, have you guys even played it? And if so, what are your thoughts? And if you've decided not to play it, why have you made that decision? Even though Valve have now told you this is out of beta, it is ready. I'd also be really grateful if you guys could check out one of my earlier videos if you haven't already, called The Ultimate Guide to Team Fortress 2, which is an absolute piss take, by the way. However, it's some of the best video editing and scripting I personally feel I've ever done, so I'd like to think that you would enjoy it and take the time to watch it. And of course, if you are new around here, you can subscribe on the screen right now or below and be notified about all my future TF2 commentaries, gameplays, and who knows, maybe they'll drop me an Overwatch beta key someday. Thanks everyone, and I'll see you in the next one.